Hey everybody, Dan here for Argo Comics, where we do not just publish independent comics, we support independent comics. I have a bunch of indie comics right here. I'm going to ask that you hit the like button for this video, hit the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let us know what indie comics you recommend, what indie comics are your favorites, and all that just so we can kind of up ourselves in the algorithm, give some more recognition to these great indie books that I'm showing you here today. Quick update on my own. I was busy last month with getting Kickstarter books done and situated for fulfillment. I did digital fulfillment, and I'm getting ready for print fulfillment. I actually have a proof copy of the Sorority Power Volume 1. So this was part of the last Kickstarter, Sorority Power number 1, Sorority Power Volume 1 rather, Sorority Power All New Issue 16. That was part of the last Kickstarter, and got the proof, looked it over, read it, everything is looking good for this one, so I'm eager to get that out to people. I was just waiting on a few more surveys that I know they sometimes are tricky for people to see that they have a survey that needs to be done. But I did send out the surveys. Just waiting on a couple now as of today, so I should be good to go to get that print order in. And talking of Kickstarter, I had backed Golden Domain, public domain zine of Golden Age heroes. I had seen some, there's Addoman, Phantoma, Stardust, who I always liked, the Eye. Forget what that guy is called again. Let's see. Press Guardian, that guy is. And we have, I guess not on the cover, but they also have a Kismet, Man of Fate. So anyone following my own Nature Man series, bringing Nature Boy back from public domain obscurity. Kismet, I worked into the story. And yeah, we have some. I'll let you freeze frame the credits if you want to read on your own instead of me butchering everyone's name. The Stardust. Well, Stardust was a zany type of book to begin with, so I guess they have kind of a zany art style for Stardust. The Phantoma art, yeah, Phantoma art, that was very good. Thought that was extremely well done. Story and art, Pav Kovacic. You see, that's why I'm not really reading these. Fletcher Hanks created both Stardust and Phantoma. Yeah, Pav Kovacic, I'll say. As like when Phantoma is using her powers, she usually looks like that. And Press Guardian art was very good as well. There's a little preview of that. So, up. And Kismet. See, Kismet in the, I have all the original appearances for Kismet in doing my research. Yeah, he's kind of could see the future, more of just a fighter. Here we see some, he's calling upon a genie, or a djinn, or as they sometimes call them. So that was sprucing up. I kind of spruced him up a little bit too with some additional mystical powers. We had the Eye adventure there. Then there was a section of the book that went black and white. Let's see. The art was a little rougher in that section. Same thing with the Automan. Okay. Let's see. Then we went into Black Wings. Which went back to color. A little more refined art style. Pop Art UK. Pop Art UK. Another little story at the end. Then we had a number of pinups. More Stardust. Unusual style. And that was that. Golden Domain Public Zine of Golden Age Heroes. Looking to see if it's a particular publisher, but I do not see that. So it was on Kickstarter, and perhaps they'll have another one, and then you can get the previous one. Unless they have a general release, which some books go in from a Kickstarter to a general release. Some books stay Kickstarter exclusive. And in the Thunder Zone books that I have going right now, we are trying to perhaps divide the books into some being a general release, some being Kickstarter, just so we're not being repetitive. People who are going to Kickstarter can find those books there, and then different titles being in a general release on Indie Planet. Then I also backed Magi's Grace. My old friend J.D. Calderon. We go way back. Printed the first two Argo Comics pinup books, the first books that I had published, just black and white pinups of the characters, kind of getting the concepts and names out there. And he has been publishing for quite a long time himself. And we have Magi's Grace. Let me see if I get the credits here. Yes, created and written by J.D. Calderon, illustrated C. Michael Lanning. Main cover, C. Michael Lanning. Interior colors, Edgar Tavitas. So, and there are a bunch of variant covers. And I guess Angel Wing. Okay, some of his books, I believe he publishes as Dreamweaver Press, but other books, we have this Angel Wing as the imprint. And C. Michael Lanning, I was on a web show with the both of them, actually, and a few other guests. And saw C. Michael Lanning. I checked out his art and thought it looked very good. So, there's an example right there. say, a little more in the cartoony realm of art. They're not really going for like a hyper realism or anything. And this book was supposed to be a little more racy type of book. Yeah, but overall, I thought it looked good. So, picked up issue 1. And we also picked up issue 2. Okay. Get this out of the bag. I believe it's the same creative team. No. Colors changed to Champe Ramirez. And they look very good. Let's see. And again, it's more like a sexy cheesecake type of book. But I think it looks good. I haven't read, as with all these haul videos, it's not really looking to give a review and say what I thought of the story, just what I had picked up, perhaps why I picked it up. And as I had said, JD had other books that he put out through Dreamweaver Press, and Oswald Chronicles is perhaps his main title, which he's done many stories with. So, created and written by J.D. Calderon, illustrated by Jade Gonzalez, colors by David Montoya. And this reminded me, Jade's art, a lot of Ben Dunn. Actually, Ben had a mouse character, the Mighty Tiny, which he published a while back. So this all brought that to mind, but there's been many Oswald Chronicles stories, and the mouse is a bit of a wizard, and you got a bit of a prose story in the back. Tall Tales is probably Dreamweaver's other main title. This is Tall Tales, or so I thought. Created and written by J.D. Calderon, illustrated by Daphne Lodge, who is usually at the conventions with JD whenever I would see him. So she has a great art style, nicely detailed. More prose. So I guess if you're judging a comics by time spent with the comic, you're certainly getting your money's worth. A lot of words in here, but as I said, very beautifully illustrated. And we also had Big Pond Comics. Okay, this was in the same packet of books, story and art by D. Fish, who's certainly a well-known indie creator. He's had a number of projects, D. Fish, I've seen him on. This one is, I think it looks a little bit like early Trent Canigua, is that what? Yeah, who did Snowman, and perhaps a little Ethan Van Sciver's early Cyber Frog stuff. So this was when they were all published through Hall of Heroes, which is where I first bought those books. And those creators got their start. Matt Martin with Snowman, Trent Canigua with Creed, and then Ethan Van Sciver with Cyberfrog. So I probably still have all those somewhere. So Big Pond Comics looks like it's very well done. I like the art style, and I think it's clean. So those were all on Kickstarter, and I believe he has another Kickstarter coming, and that's, you can look up Dreamweaver Press. Trying to think of the title that's coming. I know it's JD's superhero story with a mixture of humans and anthropomorphic characters. Yeah, just let me see if it's advertised in here. Let's see. Now, the advertisements here are for other books that were part of a distribution model that they were trying out. Kickstarter again, Tin Soldier, Starcross Comics, or The Relentless Tin Soldier. Nicholas Gear, is that right? Yeah, Nicholas Gear, creator of this one. Just gonna pop the credits there for your own freezing and reading. But yeah, it's well done. Let's see. See if I can find something. Oh, here's a little origin scenes of the Tin Soldier there, pumping him full of the chemicals that I guess will turn him into tin. Yeah, Starcross Comics, they have a number of titles. Here's an ad in the back for a bunch of their heroes. I think that's reminiscent of maybe a Kingdom Come, I believe, illustration. Oh, actually, here's a whole bunch of books from Starcross. Okay. Yeah, they've had a number of good titles behind them. That was issue 1. No, I'm going out of order. 3. I'm showing you 3. Let's get 2. Tin Soldier 2. Is it the same art? Yeah, I think so. Credits. And let's give you a little, there's a double page spread. Tin Soldier's on a parade there. Got a little glare here. These balloons, I believe, are other Starcross Comics characters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think I was actually looking at the book for this character, and interested in perhaps picking that up. There we go. That's a good shot of the Tin Soldier right there. Yeah, it's a cool looking character. Good design. Art, colors, letters, everything seems good. I backed it. So I must have, I usually read the story synopsis. And I'm guessing that I liked it. And it was fulfilled in a timely manner, which is a plus, because I have books that are years still waiting on. This is issue 3 of Tin Soldier. There's the credits on that one. Yeah, different artist on this one. Mike McMahon. I think this is it looks like Man of War up here. Oh no, U.S. Assassin. Okay, so that's a different character. So yeah, some other Starcross characters I think are making their way in here. I think Starcross has a big crossover, which I already had an issue on the Monster Hall here. But as I said, they filled this out pretty quickly. Here's the last book that was part of that I got, Kid Fury. Okay, again, it was a Nicholas Gear book. Got a trading card. I'm not usually one for all these little tchotchkes that come with these books, but I don't mind it. Vince White. Art and letters. So Vince White, done a number of logos for myself, and we also have an upcoming cover from him in the next Kickstarter. Joe Spicer, who I believe is the head of Starcross, doing graphics. So here's the credits on that one. If you couldn't see the inside ones there. Evan David, a writer. Eduardo Garcia, colorist. Vince White, art and letters. So here you can see these are well done. Kid Fury, I guess, is a public domain, so I think that's probably how they originally looked, Black Fury and Kid Fury, and then he gets a new costume in the modern day. Yeah, so it seems very well done. That's Starcross. And what I was getting at was that, like I said, there are some books I've been waiting on for years, some that I've kind of given up on. But yeah, I actually saw a Kickstarter, and I guess the public, I don't know, is memory short or something? I saw a Kickstarter where I don't think the issues that they kickstarted earlier were ever fulfilled. And then they were doing a new issue on Kickstarter. And yeah, the publisher hadn't put it out. And the creator hadn't put it out. And then, yeah, it seemed like it actually had a new campaign, and I guess usually that type of thing happens, people report it, and the Kickstarter gets taken down. But maybe after, a certain amount of years, maybe there's just not as many people from, I don't know, 6 years back that are still picking up the books there. I don't know. But the campaign didn't go through anyway, so doesn't really matter. But yeah, I felt it odd. Like, I saw actually a book where number one, I waited about a year or whatever, and then I couldn't really get behind it again. And maybe they did like a 4 more issues, and I don't know. I just saw the 5th issue, and it was doing that Kickstarter did very well. So you never know. I mean, I'm trying to fulfill, as quickly as possible. Usually getting the print books within 3 months, sometimes quicker, but usually within 3 months. But I've seen where, again, this was like a 1 year thing, and still able to bounce back. It's probably more than a year for that book. But fulfilling on a timely manner matters, at least to me. And I'm appreciative when I get these books and I'm not, having to search through the updates. I don't usually read every update that comes in as a super backer or whatever. You get a lot of updates. But sometimes if I'm waiting a year or two for a project, I think I'll check out the updates and see where they're at. And it seems like a lot of them don't have the money to print. And that was the whole thing of having the Kickstarter. But I often say if you don't have the books completed and you didn't have the money to begin with to lay down for that issue number one, then that money is probably going to be needed for bills. And that's where we have creators who had a Kickstarter and now are saying that they're, I guess I'll have to try to do it out of my own pocket. Out of your own pocket. It was out of everybody's pocket already. That was the whole point of the Kickstarter. So, it's a sad state of affairs. But you can always see some of the campaigns that I guess you could look at how many created. You could look at the updates of those campaigns, see if they have a fulfilled at the end, or see if they have 20 messages about, excuses. There's actually one book where I was trying to help out a little bit and get them done, and they said we don't want to rush it and just put out crap. And you don't want to put out crap, but perfection is the enemy of progress. And I'm sure that even if it ever did get completed, it isn't going to be perfect. But there is a point where you have to kick the bird out of the nest, get that book out there, and come through for your backers. You can't just always be redrafting it, trying to make it better because you think it's going to hit and you're going to have, world fame coming at you. Todd McFarlane used to say, you give me 3 months, I'll give you a completely different issue of Spawn. But, and sometimes the Image guys were late at the beginning. But he was trying to do a book in a certain period of time, and that was the book that you were going to get. Not, overworking it to the point where it has to be his masterpiece and we don't have a book for a year. So a word to tip to the creators out there: balance. Find that balance of quality. Don't skimp on quality, but respect for your customers and actually putting out a book. Now, off of Kickstarter, we got a general release, Dynamite, put out the Herculoids, which I grew up. They were in reruns through the Hanna-Barbera World of Super Adventure. So we had Herculoids, Birdman, Galaxy Trio, Space Ghost, Mitor, Shazam, not to be confused with Shazam. That's a 2 Z's and an N at the end. Those were great cartoons. Alex Toth, a big creator, had done a lot of the design work in those cartoons, including, I believe, designing these Herculoids, which were like a caveman couple and their son, and they had these friends, or they were leading. Oh, there's the sun up on Igu's shoulder. These creatures. Okay, Zoc the dragon, lasers shot out of his eyes. Igu the rock ape, Gloop and Gleep. They were gelatinous creatures. And Dorno was this rhino that would shoot energy rocks out of his horn there. Great cartoon. The artwork in here looks somewhat animated, kind of true to the style, even though the cover is a bit painted. Ooh, here's a book that I'll have to... did I miss solicitation for this? Because they have a giant-sized Wacky Races. That was another big cartoon for me. I was catching in reruns. So all these, I think, were late 60s. I wasn't around for that, but I would catch them on reruns. And this was the Wacky Races. This character is Penelope Pitstop. She was one of the Wacky Racers. She also had Penelope Pitstop and the Anthill Mob had another cartoon after Wacky Races had ended with Dick Dastardly and Mudley, who were part of the Wacky Races as well. But yeah, I'm really interested to read this. DC had the properties at one point, the Hanna-Barbera superheroes, and now it seems like Dynamite. Yeah, and I'll definitely have to remember. Yeah, here's another one, Space Ghost and Johnny Quest. It's never that big on Johnny Quest, but Space Ghost was part of that Hanna-Barbera superhero thing. Sometimes you'll see illustrations where they put Dynamite and Blue Falcon in with the Hanna-Barbera superheroes. They came many years later, so although stylistically it looks natural, I don't really consider that all one universe, especially since all these seem to take place, Mitor, this, all seem to take place on like a primitive world in a galaxy far away or something. Talking about properties I like Project Superpowers with, there's Dynamite as well. Okay, and they had a crossover with Vampirella. Vampirella Dark Powers. a variety of artists, I believe, yeah, doing this. But it kind of crossed over Vampirella and Project Superpowers, which were all public domain characters. And I'll say they had a very large cover gallery. Okay, Joseph Michael Linzer, who I used to see at the conventions, Cry for Dawn. I wasn't so hot on all these covers, but that's a good one. Jay Lee is also another creator who makes great art. So they have covers in here, but a lot of covers. And I appreciate that because sometimes you get a trade and they'll have like 4 of the covers per page, which is almost not even worth it to see these small versions of these covers. I would rather them just pick the best ones and do them full page so we can appreciate the art rather than these 4 tiny representations of those covers. Here's a book I have in a couple different formats, but I love trade paperbacks are my favorite. I'm not really one for hardcovers. Oversized books, I can't really. Sometimes I am okay with them, but and I guess to appreciate the art, as I was just saying, a large book can be okay. But for the most part, I like comic book sized trade paperbacks. Best for reading, for storing, and yeah, Frank Cho, Sabine Rich, Fight Girls, Director's Cut, came out in trade. Frank Cho is just an incredible artist. Anyone familiar with his work knows that. Very detailed. There's a dinosaur and a woman for you. It's supposed to be on a TV screen, I think, so those lines are obscuring it a little for you. Just a fantastic artist. And always incorporating a good story also. So this is put out by AWA. Okay. Their official name, AWA Upshot. I don't know where that comes to mind. But no, just AWA. Okay, so general release, you can find it anywhere. Ahoy Comics, The Wrong Earth, Dead Ringers, Tom Peyer, Jamal Igle, Juan Castro, Lee Lawridge. I had picked this up initially a while back. The initial story, Jamal Igle, I had known and liked his work for a long time. Creator of Molly Danger, if anyone's familiar with that one. And I was actually one of his first convention sketches because he had done a convention at the Nassau Coliseum, and I had gotten a blue dynamo, which made its way as a pinup in the Argo 5 series, and that was Jamal's first show. And at the time at the table, it didn't seem like there was a lot going on. So when I see talent, I want a commission. And he went on to greatness. Let's see. Just trying to show you some artwork here. There's some action going on. Very clean and defined style. Image Comics, Red Coat. Okay. Jeff Johns writing, Brian Hitch doing the art. There's the whole credits for you. Brian Hitch, of course, phenomenal creator, artist of the Ultimates, which I guess made its way, most of it, into the Marvel movies. If anyone was a visual influence on the Marvel movies in the comics, I would say it's Brian Hitch. And yeah, it seemed to be some type of Geiger and I believe Geiger and Redcoat, and they had like a kind of like a little anthology previews of a number of books through top name artists. This being one of them, and I was happy that they put it in trade. And I've yet to read it, but with Brian Hitch art, it is what me and my friend Cameron used to call an insta-buy. So you're not even going to question it. You're just going to buy it. Redcoat, Brian Hitch. Look at the interior art. Definitely going to be a recommended purely on the art alone. Well, that'll do it for this Indie Monster haul. Again, I'm going to ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, leave a comment. Did I miss a book? I must have missed some books. There are more indies out there. Let me know what you're reading. Put in the comments, and I will see you on the next Indie Monster haul.